St. John's takes home their first Big East championship since 2000 in the win against Creighton, 82-66. They complete an undefeated season at home. Um, Statement victory. Um, big win for St. John's as they advance and head on to the March Madness tournament. This Big East tournament was one of the better tournaments out there. We saw the Paul team become a disruptor for a low moment, put Creighton in a tough spot. Um, Gave them a double overtime battle. We saw a crazy game between Creighton and UConn with a crazy ending. And we saw a good game for a half. I don't say it wasn't for. I mean, I feel like the whole game was good. Think it was good to see how the first half started, and then just seeing how just couldn't help but get hyped for St. John's as they had that run in the second half. Tariq, how are you feeling? How what are your thoughts about this game and this tournament and ultimately St. John's performance through it all?
Super impressed with St. John's. Creighton started out playing with a lot of energy early, and then St. John's was able to match it. The first half was kind of a struggle for both teams shooting wise. Zuby Ejiofor, they kept challenging him to shoot from outside. Um, he obliged and was shooting them. I think he only made 1 3 in the first half.
Yeah.
Um, so you know that battle was something that really only took place in the first half. He didn't really um, force any of those in the second half. I think he only took 4, made 1,
Yup.
and then I mean Creighton shot 40% first half. St. John's shot 33%. Score was 28-25 at the end of the half. First 4 minutes, really the whole second half, but the first 4 minutes of the second half, the pace was crazy. It just felt
Yes.
like every time a shot went up, whether it was made or missed, it was just. And then you know, Ryan Kalkbrenner started to take over in the early parts of the second half. And then he came out of the game with like 12:35 left. Ejiofor immediately gets an and one, ties it up. Then they put Ryan right back in with like, I don't know, maybe a minute later. Um, Ashworth hit a three, shushed the crowd. Neal got an and one dunk. You could hear the Creighton fans. Um, and then every time another team made like a mini run, somebody answered. RJ Lewis answered with a three, did this, and they called it a gun. Know the culture, bro. Know the culture.
You in the garden, and I don't even want to shoot bail at that blue and orange team that plays in the garden as well. But there's a player that does a celebration that plays on that same court.
Let the kids play. That's what I wrote down.
No
As soon as that
ball,
happened,
no the culture.
let the kids play. So it was what I wrote down as soon as that
No
happened.
ball, no the
And then
culture.
right after that, I wrote St. John's push because as soon as they did that, St. John's was like, bet,
Yeah,
and started cooking.
yep.
The atmosphere was electric. St. John's made 14 straight shots, 14
Crazy,
straight field goals from
crazy.
the 12:28 mark to the 4:55 mark.
I'm glad you got that stat because I was trying to figure that out.
I was trying to figure it out too, and I was like, I could just go look at the play-by-play. I was like, I could see what
Oh
the first,
man,
like,
we love
what's the
box
last
scores. We
miss,
love
first
technology
make,
these days.
and then we go back, and I was like, all right, because I remember the first shot that they missed was a Zuby Ejiofor three at the top of the key, and
Yep.
I was like, ain't no way that's going in. If he made
Honestly, they
that,
was leaving
the
him
crowd would have,
open, dog, at the
they
top of
might
the
have,
key
the
every
crowd might
time.
have
I'm
ran on the
thinking
floor.
like, is this a set play? Like
Nah, they
they
just
was
refused
like,
to
all
guard
right,
him.
we gonna let him live. He hit
Yeah,
one.
but I mean, RJ Lewis had one of those games that's like solidify of National Player of the Year
Come
type
on
shit,
now, talk about it.
like 29 and 10.
Mm.
I think he had what
Yeah,
27 in the
27
second
in that
half.
second half.
Kadari Richmond was great again.
27 in the
12
second
points,
half.
12 rebounds, 4 assists. Zuby Ejiofor had 20 points, 3 rebounds.
27 in the let me
Um,
stop.
battle with Ryan Kalkbrenner all night. Stephen Ashworth went 3 of 19, 2 of 10 from three. That was nasty. Jason Green went 4 of 5. Uh, Jackson McAndrew made me look pretty smart. He had 14 points, 18 and 6 rebounds. If Stephen Ashford could have showed up, maybe I'd have looked even smarter and they'd have won the game.
Oh
But
man, terrible shooting night from
Ryan Con
Ashworth, but he hit
yeah,
some shots when it mattered.
not really.
Not really, but like I don't say when it
Because they
mattered,
lost
but
by
like it's like the
16.
three he hit. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I'm tripping. I was more so pointing to the shot he hit in response to,
And then it's just the
and
crowd.
he's like, "Y'all calm that down." So
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, he might be up." He
How
was
you
not.
gonna do that? They could proceed to miss like
So that was
all the
his
rest of your
what
shots.
second made shot, and he did that.
Yeah,
My guy, you gotta hit like three more before you can start doing that, my boy.
for real. But I will say
Three and
in the
19. Shoot,
moment,
he shot next week.
I will say in the moment it makes sense. You crazy. He shot next week. Boy shooting tour dates. And he
He
only going
shot
tour.
next week.
Uh they didn't shoot well from the three. That I think that was one of the big keys going into this game. They shot 6 of 26. They lost the 3-point battle at St. John's. St. John's went 7 of 14. Again, they don't shoot a ton.
I was saying Shane
They
Johnson on a
probably
3-point shooting team.
and they only shot 14, and 4 of those came from Edgefor. So
Shot
in
50% from
reality,
the field
and shots that they
from
wanted
the
to shoot,
three.
they only shot 10 threes. They didn't really want Edgefor to shoot the three, but he had to try to draw Kalkbrenner out.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, just an all around fantastic game from both sides. Fantastic game from St. John's in particular, just because they just are so relentless. And I keep saying this every time that we have to talk about St. John's, but like there's always going to be a moment when they just flip that switch defensively,
Yup.
and they always play with pressure, but there's a
Yup.
time when that pressure is just like
Too much.
at its peak, at its height, and there's nothing you can do. Once you get across half court, then you're trying to run a play or you're moving too fast. Like Jermaine Deal came down and he rushed the ball up. He had a pass. He waited a tick too late. He throws it. It gets tapped in the air. They come down. They score. It's like, bro, all the decisions that you make could be either a second too early or a second too late, and that caused you to end up being at their mercy at that point. And once the league got to 5, 6, 7, it was over
21 points
because
all turnovers, St.
you're not coming
John's.
back to that. Yeah,
They forced 15.
and Creighton's not a team that turns the ball over a lot either.
No, they take care of the ball. But yeah, no, definitely. I think the crowd was a factor here for a good bit. I mean, obviously being out there playing the Madison Square Garden, but I mean that just helps them out. You know, there's the advantages
Sure.
on their side. They yeah, they really turned it on that second half, and to further emphasize RJ Lewis's performance here, man. Um, that's just the kind of guy he is. He was named tournament MVP. Big East Player of the Year. Um, Big East first team. He's finalist for the Julius Irving Award. Just a hell of a year for this guy, man. Um, as he continues to lead the Johnnies down March or through March. But yeah, definitely a big one for this team. Um, First Big East tournament championship for this program since 2000.
That's
Um,
when Bryce was like 10 for real.
Saying I'm old
What? Nah, I would never do that.
since 2000.
Yeah, he was like 10.
That was 25 years ago.
Yeah, he was like
I'm
10.
not 25.
No, you're 35.
I'm not 35 either.
Oh, right, you like 46.
I'm not 46 either.
26, 26, 26.
There we go. And thanks for letting the viewers know how old I am. But
Yeah, like half the people that's watching this might not be fans of us already or know
you're
us
right.
personally.
You're right. Anyways,
I
you'll
feel
be
I
there
feel age was a
soon in a
secret.
couple of weeks, sir. But
All right, relax.
but anyways, man, big does, big victory for St. John's in this one. Um, I wouldn't really put it on Creighton struggling. I mean, obviously, it's just a nasty first half from both sides, and obviously, out of Stephen Ashworth, it's not the ideal game
Oof,
that you want to have from your point guard. But
at all. Especially when bro like 24.
yeah, I mean, only. I mean, I don't say only person. Person that was consistent, um, or at least showed flashes throughout the game was Jemiah Neal. Felt like it was certain times where I felt like he was gonna catch a spark, just never really fully happened, but it was shades of it happening, you know? Like even whenever St. John's had their run, you could see he was still trying to get things going and keep the momentum on their side for as long as they could. But ultimately, St. John's pulled away. Um, the stretch where RJ Lewis and I want to say Zuby Ejiofor just kept just going back and forth, bucket for bucket. Um,
Gary Richmond had two back-to-back layups too in that late stretch.
yep. I think rebound was a big factor in this one too. Um, Let me see here. Kadarian
St.
Richmond
John's
with
probably
12
got like
rebounds.
39,
That boy
34.
can grab a board.
Yeah,
That
it's
that
very
that boy can
Westbrook like
grab a board. Yes.
get aboard and just go.
Yeah. It's
Um,
fast. But
yeah, and they outscored them in bench points. What 12-2?
mhm.
That's big too. 12-2 in bench points. Um, you said 21 points out of turnovers,
21 points
and
off
then
turnovers, yeah.
Creighton started out 0 for 4 from the free throw line. They ended up going what 8 for 16. So make your free throws, man.
Free throws are important, kids. We learned that
Like
last night.
you playing in a championship game. You can't even make free throws. Jermaine Dale went 0 for 3 from the free throw line. Cochran went 1 for 4. Jason Green went 1 for 2. Jackson McAndrew went 1 for 2. So it's like damn near all of y'all shot 50% from the field or from the free throw line. The only one that made all their free throws was Stephen Ashford. So it's like it's the little things that keep you from winning these kind of games. And St. John's made every play that needed to be made, especially in the second half. Um, they by no means they played a perfect game because the first half wasn't great.
Yeah.
But when they're able to do that in the second half, when they're able to do that for a 10 to 12 minute span, they're gonna be hard to beat.
Yes.
And seeing how they played this weekend and how they played throughout the season, I'm not I'm not opposed to choosing them to be my national championship team or be at least in the national championship game. Because when you can defend like that, when you got guards that can make the plays that they make, you have a star, you have a post player that can do a lot of different things, defensive identity. It's gonna be a tough team to beat. The only thing that could be their backbreaker, in my opinion, is 3 point shot.
Yeah. I said
They
they
don't
come
need to
across
make
a
a
team
ton.
that they can't keep up with on that end of the ball or that on that element
But see,
offensively,
that's where the
it
defense
could be
comes
a
in
long night. But yes, that's where the defense comes in.
because that's where you got to get those fast break points, which
Yeah.
they are capable of doing because they got a lot of athletes. It's getting
They
extra
got the
second
reach
chance
too.
points. Yeah, they have all the answers. It feels like they have all the answers.
Yeah.
Um, somebody commented on our past video saying that they want to see Houston versus St. John's. I would personally love to see that in the championship game. I think those two teams will match up really well, and it'll be a really
That'll give
interesting
us a
game.
classic
Yeah, I think that'd be really interesting in terms of identities and things like that. So I would love to see that personally, even if it's before the national championship game.
for sure.
Uh, Sign me up for that.
Yep. I feel like St. John's is due for a deep run as well. I got them at least going Final Four bound. I gotta ultimately looking to see what the bracket looks like. They are projected to be a 2 or 3 seed in this
Damn,
tournament. So, um,
you should be at one seed
really,
in
really
my
just
opinion.
seeing where the chips stack up for them. But I think they'll fare well in this tournament. As far as Creighton though,
Florida
I
did.
feel like
So
this Creighton team is tough. You know, I feel they can.
yeah,
I feel like they can make it past the first weekend, make it to the Sweet 16.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
You need Steven Ashford to play a lot better. I think Jemiah Neal is
Yes.
made for these kind of games, made for these kind of moments. I think Ryan Cochran is going to be hard for anybody to guard
Yeah.
um, but you need Steven Ashford to be better. I don't need he doesn't need to be making 6, 7 threes a game and shooting from
Fouling
half
out
court.
against DePaul.
Um,
Three and
he just
19
needs to
against
be
St.
efficient.
John's.
He doesn't need to be 16 or 19, but he needs to be if he's gonna shoot 19 shots, you gotta make 8, 9 of those at
Yeah.
least. Like 3 for 19 is not
My
gonna cut
boy
it
shot next week, man.
in this
That's
time of year.
crazy.
Now that is nuts. That boy shot what, Tuesday?
He shot the
Maybe
first four
Wednesday?
game.
Nah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Anyways,
Oh
man.
man.
Oh, you got anything else to say before we wrap this up?
Nah, man, just shout out St. John. Shout out the Big East tournament.
Shout out St.
I've
John's, man.
recorded 20 videos over the last 3 days.
New York is
So I
happy.
am tired, but I've enjoyed watching all of these games, even the games that were in the first day that, a lot of people didn't feel like would be entertaining. I still found joy in watching the Butlers and DePauls and the Providences of the world. Just, go out there and try to win and try to, win a tournament and for put themselves into the tournament or into the NCAA tournament. Obviously, in this tournament and in this conference, you're looking at the top 14. So it was good to see the top 14 get to the semifinal, and we got to see those matchups. Um, so yeah, man, just super entertaining. Glad I was able to cover the Big East tournament, and hopefully these teams that we covered over this past weekend, and which I've done a lot of Big East games since we started working with the sleepers. Hopefully they do well in March, so I have some teams outside of Kentucky to root for.
No, for sure. Shout out to St. John's. Right after the game, my pops sent me the St. John's logo. He's happy. Uh, so
When the last time I told you about St. John's?
shoot, maybe a week ago. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He mentions how Luke Conoseca was at his game.
Mm,
Um, as when he was in high school. Not scouting him though,
okay.
scouting somebody else. But he was like, man, Luke Conoseca's at my game. That's probably the worst pops impression I ever done on my pops. But nah. Um, but nah, yeah, shout out everybody for a good Big East tournament this year. Uh, some great games that we saw. Um, I want to say and Marquette and St. John's was a good game. DePaul and Creighton was a good game, obviously.
Great, UConn.
Creighton UConn was a good game. There's a lot of good basketball being played this year in the Big East, man. Definitely enjoyed covering them. But yeah, on to the big dance. And you know what to tune into, what to tap into, what to lock into right here on the Sleepers Media YouTube channel. Y'all don't know, like, comment, and
Marquette Xavier
subscribe.
is really fun too. Sorry.
Oh, yes. But yeah, y'all know what to lock into. Sleepers Media, here all March. And after that,